My bookish ick, the hill that I will die on, 10 toes, gripping the dirt, is that enemies to lovers works in any genre. Yeah, you heard it right. I'm not the believer that enemies to lovers only works in fantasy, dystopia. No, it'll work in a rom-com. Yeah, it'll work in contemporary. It'll work in anything. Okay, your guys' hate of men is performative. Because what are you guys talking about saying enemies to lovers doesn't work in rom-coms and in contemporary romance books because he works in an office, like literally just go make, you're mad at him because he looked at you wrong? What type of enemies is that? Like, just go make up. Guys, this is men we're talking about. I've hated men for less. I believe a man looking at you wrong is an entirely okay basis for you to hate them and for them to be your enemy, guys. Now listen, if this is a fantasy book and the most that the two characters are gonna do is just look at each other across the table, boring. Give me some daggers, knife to the throat scenes, okay? Dangling each other in front of a pit of fiery storms, you know, that type of vibe. Because that's the worldview, the setting of a fantasy book. If it's dystopian, you know, put them on a target and do some shooting practice with, you know, because it's dystopian, that's a setting. But in a real world life setting, it is completely acceptable to hate a man because they looked at you wrong, because he left the door closed without opening. Guys, whatever happened to misandry? Hello, ladies and ladies, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm gonna be reading your guys's, was it book X to be H? I actually kind of forgot. Slow me down. Sorry. Okay, I actually kind of forgot, but today, I'm gonna be reading your guys's bookish X. I'm so excited. I do this video quite often, because it's so fun to talk about things, you know what I mean? Like, it's entertaining. You guys already know the drill. I posted a story on my Instagram story asking for you guys to send me in your bookish X, and you guys delivered. I screenshotted some of my favorites, and we're gonna talk about them, but we're gonna talk about it while cleaning my bookshelf. My bookshelf is in disarray, okay? There is dust, there is just, like, what's going on here, guys? Literally what? We're gonna kind of organize my bookshelf while talking about your bookish X. It's gonna be a little bit difficult because I am holding a microphone, so we're gonna have to do everything one-handed, but I'm gonna make it work, yeah? It's gonna be so fun! Also, guys, how do we feel about the makeup? I was filming a baddie makeup tutorial, type of get ready with me on TikTok. I think it kind of worked. Oh my gosh, I can fit the microphone right here. Yo, am I like a genius or what? I'm gonna empty out all my books first. Wow, you guys are gonna get a lot of my side view profile. Is it eating? I hope you can hear me like this. This is so goofy. Hey guys! I'm reading the responses that I got, and I actually don't know if I set this as bookish X or if I did bookish unpopular opinions. Let me go back and double check. Just let me alone. Unpopular book opinions. It wasn't bookish X. Yeah, I'm not redoing that intro. Hey! So instead of bookish X, guys, this is basically your bookish unpopular opinions. Thank you! Unpopular opinion number 1. Some mafia books are in fact not cringy and somehow affect your life forever. See, in my personal opinion, I think it has to be a Wattpad mafia book, and I actually stand by that, guys. Does anyone know the Wattpad mafia book named Ace? I haven't read it, but I know enough about it for it to shatter my soul. It's a very devastating mafia book, and you build up super typical, like, bad guy stuff, and this girl and all these things, and then, like, something really, really, really tragic happens at the end. Changed people's lives forever. Me personally, I read a really, really popular mafia book maybe 3-4 years ago. I totally forgot the name. Oopsies. Wasn't a happy ending. They died at the end. The girl full on died. It was like a mafia war, her family, his family. There was a shootout, and they died. I was like, what type of stupid? So yeah, I don't think it's a matter of some mafia books aren't cringy, and they actually change your life forever. Any book in any genre can be deemed as cringy or not cringe. It's the content. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. That made so much sense. I just think that mafia books get a really bad rep, which honestly deserved, because like 90% of these books are horrifying. Guys, tell me why I just finished a book. This looks so goofy. It's like negative aura. Okay, what the frick? Let me just hold this. I just finished reading a mafia book and it's so bad. And I say that lovingly though, because this is like the 5th book in the series and I keep going back to it because they're just so horribly entertaining. But she literally, this mafia guy, guys, story time. He went through something very, 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 very traumatic in his past. Horrible, horrible stuff, okay? And so he enters into these like zones where it's just like he's like locked out, can't focus on anything, like tunnel vision. If you touch him, he will like genuinely kill you while he's in these zones. He meets a girl. Okay, he meets a girl, and the way he meets her is like it reminds him of his very, very traumatic past. So just instantaneously, he's just like, mine. Wish I was dramatic. Instantaneously, he's just like, mine. She's mine. And then mind you, they don't know each other. And sometimes in mafia books, the characters have some sort of pull and push and pull together, but it's because lo and behold, they actually knew each other when they were kids. But no, these two didn't know each other. Like this was genuinely their first time ever in the history of ever meeting. She sees him entering in one of these zones. Guys, she climbs on top of him and she's like, big boy, look at me. Big boy, you like my pajamas? And she starts talking to him to get him out of these zones, and it just works. And then the mafia guy, he has like, you know, his mentor father figure that he's known his whole life. He's like gagged. He's like, you touched him? I tried to do that, and he almost killed me. Like, how could you? Yo, it was like, pick me, like, babe, look at me, you're not like this. Babe, look at me, don't look at them, look at me. You're not, it was that to the max. This is why mafia books get a bad rep. But I'm actually finishing that series because it's so bad. Again, lovingly, because I keep going back. But wow. Bookshelf is officially clear. All my books are right on the ground. How cute! I hate the lovers part in friends/enemies to lovers. Is an insane thing to read. So you hate the lovers part in an enemies to lovers, in a friends to lovers. I think you're just looking for the wrong books. I think you shouldn't read romance books and maybe just go for straight up, like just like typical, like just a book about enemies, a book about political intrigue, a book about fantasy without any of the lovers part. You know what I mean? Like that, isn't that the whole point? You know when like you have a crush and then the crush becomes a little bit more realistic. Like maybe they start texting you back, maybe like they start crushing on you back, and then you kind of just like lose all interest in you. You're like, no, I don't want this anymore. I feel like that's kind of what this is. Like maybe you just like the chase. You just like the chase of the enemies to lovers part, and then when it actually gets to the love, and you're just like, ooh, brother, this guy stinks. Maybe you just like, you don't see yourself being loved, right? You just see people arguing with you and hating you and just seeing you as nothing more than a platonic friend. And the possibility of that branching out into more, that terrifies you. And that's probably why you hate the lovers part. Yo, she's so like philosophical or whatever with the thing. Ah, my nails! Okay! Nice. Let me go. I don't care if the guy is big or enormous. I just want a good male main character with common sense. And you know what? I would say that that's unpopular for a reason. What was that one SZA song? It's cuffing season and all the girls are need a big boy. Give me a big boy. I don't know, guys. I've been listening to some Shara 7, and you know what she says? Kind of gold. She's like, you know, men are gonna be horrible people, so might as well get a rich one. Might as well get a good-looking one. And she was like onto something with that, you know what I mean? Like, guys, I think it's just the TikTokification of things. I think people, and just the height thing, you know, like all girls, it's just like this new wave of like, not even new, it's, yes, the whole 6 feet type of thing. And so authors just know, they know that this is what the girls are wanting, this is what the girls are craving. What did SZA say? I need a big boy. So the authors just took that and ran with it. And we're like, we're just gonna make a tree trunk hunk of a 7-foot man. Okay, we've just got aliens walking around on Earth, apparently, allegedly. And we're just gonna make them the love interest because then everyone just turns their brain off to the atrocities that he does throughout the book. What do you mean this man is rude, is mean, is horrible, low-key bullies her? But then, like, guys, he's 6'3". He's 6'3" and he has a six-pack. So I think it's just a disguise, guys. Like, please! Don't let the heights like be a cover for their horrible behavior, guys. Because sometimes I feel like when you read more and more books, the rose-colored lenses kind of just get off your eyes, and you're just like, hold up, these men are actually horrible. Because what do you mean she works with you and you guys are your co-workers and you like actually slammed the lunch door in her face? going back to what I first said, guys, enemies to lovers is totally applicable in rom-coms, because if a man did that to me, I'm gonna bring a knife to your throat, okay? Unpopular opinion, Emily Henry is actually not that good. Unpopular for a reason, am I right? I actually just finished reading an Emily Henry book yesterday. I audiobooked Great Big Beautiful Life on Spotify, which, first of all, just a little pivot to the conversation, I actually got to partner with Spotify for like a little partnership over on TikTok, and I talked about the brand deal, the book there, and I'll link that down below. And guys, it was such like a wow moment. Like, what the frick are you freaking talking about? I got to partner with Spotify, and talk about books. Like, it was actually insane. It was such like a pinch me moment. Like, guys, like, I'm growing and you can't stop me, and I'm going to move to LA. But I just finished Great Big Beautiful Life on audiobook, and it was fantastic. I think the thing with Emily Henry, similar to The Cruel Prince, which I'm actually shelving right now, is that a lot of people go into her books expecting just a full-on romance, just full-on rom-com, just funny giggle vibes. Guy is tall and rich and funny and charming. Girl is like never been loved before, and he treats her so well. I think that's what people expect going into Emily Henry books, but Emily Henry books are so much more. Romance is often like a subplot, you know? Yo, so like organizing the shelf and talking is just not gonna work. Please! I give up. Okay, I give up. I just want to sit and talk. This is too much work. Guys, hey, my bookshelf's done. What the heck? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know whose idea it was to hold a microphone while organizing a bookshelf, while talking to a camera, while reading off an iPad, okay? Who could have thought of such a stupid idea? It was just not gonna work. I was already overstimulated, and we were like 2 minutes into the video. So anyways, this is done. Now let's get on to the unpopular opinions, huh? Were we still on Emily Henry? I don't know, actually. But basically, long story short is I think people go into Emily Henry expecting romance, but really it's romance, you know? Books should be advertised by plots more instead of just tropes. Unfortunately, guys, I think this shouldn't be an unpopular opinion. I think this should be a popular one. I think everyone should, when recommending books, should delve into what the plot is going to be like. But unfortunately, two things, okay? One, TikTokification of publishing. And two, people's short attention spans. I'm so sorry. If you're sitting in front of a camera on TikTok and you're trying to explain a book, do you know how people will just scroll after like 10 seconds because their attention span is fried? You have to catch them on the hook. Big guy x small girl. Age gap. One bed. And to gather people's attention first, they take the things that are really popular and people really crave in books, like one bed. You know that there's going to be some tension, some bantering back and forth, and so using that as a plot point to recommend the book, you're gonna grab people's attentions who really like that. Can that even be considered a trope? I don't think. That gathers people's attentions, and then they can stay longer, you know? But I do think that we should just, guys, take back. We gotta take back our attention span, okay, guys? We gotta say, screw capitalism. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna take back my attention span. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna listen to the whole 2 minutes of somebody explaining the plot of a book, okay? Because that book could change your life. More characters need to be funny. I need giggles, laughter, something other than banter. Guys, I'm sick and tired of the shadow daddy. I hate that word more than anything, actually. Whenever I see somebody on TikTok using that unironically, guys, shadow daddy Zayden the shadow daddy, resend Akatar shadow daddy, and they say it with a straight face, and I'm like, yo, you got work in the morning, girl. I love shadow daddies. Some people, whenever I mention that on TikTok, some people are like, what even is a shadow daddy? I'm gonna give you guys the caricature, okay? Super tall, okay? I'm talking alien level status, guys. This freak, guys, he snuck onto Earth. Because what do you mean this average man is 6'7", okay? What the frick are you talking about? Super tall, okay? Super menacing, mean, frown 24/7, okay? Horrible to everyone around him. Everyone is scared of him, okay? And he's often like a wielder of shadows. Like he's got some sort of dark, menacing shadow power aura to him. That is a shadow daddy. I hate that word. word. So that caricature, is that the right word? Like that archetype, I think the word is, that type of character has just blossomed on TikTok, and everyone loves the dark and menacing and super buff and muscular and I'll kill anyone who touches her type of guy. And so I feel like every single book, specifically in fantasy, has really just like, wow, it's just book after book. Oh my god, he's super mean to you, but turns out he has a super tragic past, so it's okay. And oh my god, he's threatening to kill every single man that looks her way. And oh my god, he has a 10-pack. How do you even have space for that on your stomach? Like, it's a bit exhausting. Give me a fantasy, a dystopian book where the guy is like super awkward and he wears glasses and he's not the strongest, okay? Give me a fantasy dystopian book where the guy has like curly ginger hair and he has freckles on his face and he's really awkward and he stumbles and he's super awkward and he's not going to threaten every single person who looks the female lead's way. Like, give me something else, I beg. If you care about how people read their books, talking about the forms such as bookmarking, I guess like folding the pages, dog earing, whatever, then you are weird. And why is that unpopular? I have seen so many people post TikToks and comment sections, whatever, and they get so bothered when people crack the spines of books, when people dog ear the books, when people highlight or take notes in the books. And I'm like, why? Guys, trust me, this is all gonna tie in. You know how we've seen an upsurge in social media and like these really popular influencers, like all their houses are just so like blank slates, cream colored couches, cream colored walls, cream and white and beige decor, like sad beige baby core. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like you guys are transferring that over to books. It is okay for a thing to be loved. And you're like, well, I like to take care of my books. I'm taking care of my books too. I'm loving them so aggressively, my love, and I think it's beautiful. I think to pick up a book a year down the line to reread it and find a little a dog-eared page, I think that's so charming. That's so like, I was so entranced in the pages and so drawn into the story that the mere idea of me stopping to take out a sticky tab it inside was just incomprehensible. I had to take note and keep going. I think that's so beautiful. Cracking the spine, because I think it's charming. I really do. I think it's really great. And I don't understand why people are so bothered by it. Like, they just want super pristine, you just bought the book off the printing press type of vibe. And I'm just like, this is on the same wavelength of sad beige baby house. I don't know where the baby came from, but sad beige house. And I don't like it. I think books with character, books with notes in it, books that are annotated, books that are a little rough on the edges, I think they're cute. I really do. Unpopular opinion, but men should read romance books and learn from them. And I'm actually going to say I hope that stays unpopular. You guys know how men took over matcha and they took over Miffy and they took over the cafes? I am telling you, the romance books are next. I see it in the future. I see men setting up the camera being like, yo, you ladies were on to something, like, this Zayden guy, yo, like, I'm gonna train to be like him, yeah? What's up, violence? Like that. Start walking around being like, hey, pretty girl, I'm gonna shoot you in the face. Get the frick away from me, you monster. I don't want that, thank you. No, I think it's actually kind of nice. I think they should read from them, and I think because most romance books are written by women for women, and so you'll learn, like, yeah, guys, like, you shouldn't, women shouldn't have to ask for things. You should just know, if you wanted to, he would, and you. Rating a book low for the sake of it is just being a hater. I need reviews with pros and cons. But what if there are no pros, guys? What if there are no pros? Trust me, I've read books that like actually deserve to be burned. Like, if you're hosting a bonfire at your house, I will go to the library, buy one of the books and then use that for the fireplace, because that is how atrocious the book is. And it's so difficult to put into words sometimes, the vitriol and the anger you have towards something. It's like, how do I summarize a whole 300-400 page book and all my hate for it? How do I summarize all of that to you? You know what I mean? Unless you want to be seated there for 40 minutes. Okay, I gotta tell you every single plot hole, every single horrible line of dialogue, every single cringy text. How do I say that all in the span of a minute for TikTok? You know what I mean? But I feel like there's some leeway. If you're gonna hop online and be like, I hated this book, so stupid, 1 star, then it's just like, okay, can I get a little bit more than that? Because oftentimes people's negative reviews of books actually push me to read the book, because I'm like, I gotta see what made you hate this so bad. You know what I mean? So like a couple more words here and there, hate it when the male main character is overly flirty. Yeah! Because why are you as a man running that mouth along. How many other girls have you done this to, huh? How many other girls have you looked and said, hey, beautiful girl, hey, pretty girl, what's my princess doing? What? So you're a cheater. So you're a cheater. If the characters get together and then it's like a flirty mode, then yeah, that's different. But if you're telling me you guys are introduced to each other because he's just running that, God, girl, he's done that to every single girl in this building. Every single girl. You're not special. You're not special, girl. Stand up. Stand up. In 3 years' time, we will look back at Shadow Daddies and cringe so hard. Yes! Yes! I've said this once. Actually, I feel like I've definitely said this in a TikTok once before, and I stand by that, guys. You know how we look back at that, like, 2016 book era where all of the characters were, all the girls were just such pick-me girls. Like, I threw my messy blonde hair into a messy bun, and loose pieces framed me, and I wore big, large glasses, and I had the most gorgeous freckles, but I wasn't like other girls, and I put on my Converse that are high tops and my baggy shorts and a little off-the-shoulder top, and I made my way to school. Like that super pick-me behavior, like, oh, Josh invited me to his party, but I'd rather just sit at home and read. Like that super pick-me, like, girl behavior that was around in the 2016 bookish era. We all look back at that and we're just like, ooh, how are we eating this up? I mean, there's still a sense of, what's the word? Nostalgia. There's still a sense of nostalgia when I read those books, and I'm like, it's funny in a way. But I do think, without a doubt, that we're going to look back at this booming surge of shadow daddies where these guys are just horrible. They're just horrible, and they're so mean for no reason. And they try so hard to be tough, because why are you being like, grr, get away from her? And it's just like her brother talking to her. Like, what is up with this, guys? We're 1000% gonna look back and be like, ooh. And we thought this was the pinnacle of who's we? It's you. You thought that this was the pinnacle of romance? Girl, stand up. Third person is not enjoyable. Guys, I am telling you right now, it's just because you haven't read a good third person book. I think third person is the most perfect perspective, entirely dependent on the genre and just like the setting and overall vibe of the book, okay? When an author does it well, she does it well. And this can be applicable to actually literally anything. Any trope, any sentence, any accidental pregnancy, literally anything. When something is done well, it's done well. But third person is so, I used to be a hater, guys. I'm reformed. I used to hate third person because the first and last, up until this point, the first and last third person book I read was Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I didn't think it worked, really. I wasn't the biggest fan. And then this year I read This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi, literally right here, my one true love. I read it and it changed my perspective on everything. This Woven Kingdom is a fantasy book, and having it set in third person really was just so perfect, because basically you get this like bird's eye view of everything. You get to see all the characters, like you get to see the characters and then their interactions with each other, and then what's also happening in the background, and then also this thing, without the excessive use of I, because sometimes when I read a book, it's just too much. I tuck my hair behind my ear, and then I grab my phone from the dinner table as I sit down on the couch to open the TV with my hands, because I open the TV and it's just too much. You're freaking sounding like the seagulls from Nemo, okay? I don't like it. But in the third person, you just get a lot. It's just like a lot more. Wow. You have so much freedom and so much creativity to be a lot more creative. Wow, you have creativity to be creative. Who would have guessed? You just have more leeway with your descriptors and stuff, you know? And because in normal first person books, it's very much what I see and what I think is happening, right? So like I hand him some money and he looks at me with a gleam in his eyes that I can't decipher. But when it's third person, you can decipher it because it's not the characters' perspective, it's a narrator's perspective. So it's very much like Amina hands Rob I hate the name. Amina hands Aaron. Amina hands Aaron the money. He takes it and his heart pounds. You know, that's all in the same chapter. And even though it's in my perspective, since it's being told from a narrator, you're getting both my perspective and Aaron's perspective at the same time. Do you get what I'm saying? Third person is fantastic, guys. I'm telling you, start with This Woven Kingdom and then thank me next. Yeah. Slow me down. Guys, I can't stop singing that. I needed some water, guys. You're not gonna guess where this water jug is from. Do you see that W? Wapped! Yeah, they also collaborated with me, guys. Like, she's making it out, guys. Before you know it, I'm not gonna have to share a room with my little sister anymore. Yeah! I hope that was some ASMR for you. People act like you're not a reader if you don't read 456 books a year. LOL, I barely read 3. And I agree. I think it works on both ends of the spectrum. One end, if you tell someone that you read 400 books a year, they're like, why? Do you even have a life? Like, are you even comprehending what you're reading? And like, what are you even talking about? How do you even read that many? They get so pressed. I could care less, guys. You could look me dead in the face and tell me you read 10,000 books, and I'd be like, claps. I don't care what somebody does with their time. And like, do you know how easy it is to find books with 100 pages, 180 pages, 60 pages, and it's still considered a book? And so it's so easy to read. You know, like, why are you getting bothered? But on the other end, sometimes if you don't read a set amount of books, people get so pressed. Guys, my reading goal every single year is 12 books. To read 1 book a month, and that is, I'm satisfied with it. Like, people have lives, people have jobs and extracurriculars and school and work and families, and reading so many books is not feasible for a lot of people. When it comes to like bookish influencers, it makes sense that they're reading hundreds of books a year because that is their job, right? But for the lot of us, it's like, girl, read your 2 books a year and be satisfied, okay? No judgment, none of that over here. Badass female main characters are extremely annoying sometimes, and to this, I agree. This morning, I had a whole talking session with just myself. The audience was me, myself, and I. The commenters were me, myself, and I. It was fantastic, guys. It was like a whole debate going on over my bed with myself. But I just think that I honestly think it kind of jumps into like internalized misogyny territory. Yeah, not to get serious or anything, but I feel like sometimes female characters are just given this like this type of like character where they have to just be rage and fury and killing everyone left and right to be taken seriously as a strong character. Because when female leads are emotional and they cry and they feel things, they're often just deemed as like annoying also. So basically there's no winning, is what I'm trying to say. You know, at the end of there's no winning. Okay, most strong female leads are just written like men. I want a feminine lead who is strong. So this ties in to what I was just saying. I feel like a part, not that the authors have internalized misogyny and they're horrible people. I just don't know. I think it's a complicated topic, but I think that to make a strong female lead, they just have them be so aggressive and these like little balls of rage that are just so angry and so violent all the time and so incapable of emotions, and they're just filled with wrath. And it's just like, who is like thinking like this? Like, what is going on? What's going on? And I feel like they think that's the only way for a strong female lead to be taken seriously, when it's just like, no. A female lead can be emotional. I think emotional maturity is you have to be so strong to have that, to regulate your emotions and take into account other people's emotions and have empathy. You are so strong for doing that. Like, what is going on? Or, you know, you can also be physically strong and be able to take down an army, but you can also like, you know, stereotypical feminine things. No, it's just like, you always have these strong female leads who are just like, I hate dresses and I don't want to brush my hair and things like just, it's so weird. It's just, why? Miscommunication is lazy writing. Characters shouldn't lose brain cells for drama. Yes, I've been waiting for days like these. I think miscommunication is totally normal. I mean, how many times have you accidentally miscommunicated with a friend or with a loved one or whatever? But the thing is, these books drag it on for such unrealistic periods of time. And like, granted, it's fiction. It doesn't have to be necessarily roped into reality, but it's annoying. And it's just like, you're literally just doing this because there's no other way for you to have a third act breakup. There's no other way for you to have some sort of drama or tension in the book. So you're just throwing random, because you're telling me a fully grown woman saw her husband hug another woman across the gala balls, and suddenly she's storming off into the car, running to the house, packing up her suitcase and flying to Costa Rica. What? What? Because that's actually how some of these books work. And it's a little bit like, okay, the miscommunication can exist where the female lead is feeling a bit insecure and a bit like, whoa, my husband, who's super held off and he never talks to anyone, he's hugging a girl in the corner and he's never introduced me. It's normal for you to feel a bit achy and a bit weird and maybe a bit jealous, and for there to be a bit miscommunication. You know, maybe she's a little bit closed off and a bit like, that's weird. But for all of the craziness to happen, girl, walk up afterwards and be a little cheeky with it, like, so, like, I didn't know you were cheating on me. So, like, who was that girl you were hugging, you know? And for him to be like, oh, that's my sister. Boom! 10 chapters out of the book, guys. I just saved you 10,000 words. Reading a lot of books isn't necessary, and readers shouldn't feel pressured to hit a high target. Now, my question to this is why and how are you guys allowing other people's reading goals or other people's wrap-ups affect you? Like, in what world has this been normalized, guys? I remember on TikTok, there was again some drama that went down because somebody had posted a video saying like people shouldn't post their either monthly reading wrap-ups or their like reading goals because that makes other people feel pressured. And I was like, are we guys, stop being sheep. Think for yourselves, guys. Break out of the matrix. What the frick are we actually talking about, guys? What do you mean somebody who you've never met and you probably never meet you're never gonna meet them? They're sitting there being like, I read 10 books this month, and that's making you feel bad, guys. We've got to develop a backbone. We've got to develop some self-confidence. We've got to develop some thicker skin because in no way, shape, or form is it normal for you. Maybe that sounds a little bit aggressive. Whoa, let me backtrack. Read as many or as little books as you want and stop letting other people's reading affect yours, you know? Ugh! Someone just said, unpopular opinion, when the main girl's name is not Amina. This should be popular because why are you writing a book if you're not including me in it? You know what I mean? Like, in what world, how were you raised to believe that that's okay? Right. I've actually been recording for 2 hours now. I couldn't even tell you what I said. I couldn't even tell you an opinion I gave you. I feel like I just said a whole lot of nothing and just like left you on some tangents and cliffhangers here and there. Hopefully we got somewhere though. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know any of your other unpopular opinions or if you agree, disagree with what was stated in this video. I'm excited to read and thank you guys so much, you know? That's enough. Bye! Yeah!